to perform for your entertainment, but we're very fortunate, very privileged, in fact, to have some of the biggest names, in fact, some of the biggest guys in the UFC joining us right now. Straight after the question and answers, we're going to have a signing with all of them. But the whole point, if you haven't seen one of these in the past, is you guys as fans get a chance to speak directly to the fighters. I'm just there to make sure it ticks along nicely, but if you have any question at all for any of the fighters, there are microphones over by this gentleman. Would you like to wave, sir? Just give us a hand up. You can put your hand up. That's where a microphone is. The other one's on this side. Please feel free to ask some questions. So, let's not hang around anymore. Let's get them out. One man who's our first guest, and he's mad enough to be wearing a three-piece and a pair of leather shoes. Please put your hands together for Englishman Luke Barnatt. 8'0", 6'6", 25 years old, 185 pounds. How you doing? Grab a mic. There's some water if you need it. Very quickly, very early question. Why on earth are you wearing that in 95 degrees? Is this a look you just can't get out of?
Well, I bought it, I tried it on, and in the hotel room it was pretty cold, so I thought it'd be all right. It's actually quite breezy, so I'm not too bad.
The only man trying to make weight when he's a guest fighter. So that's Luke. He's going to give us an insight into his experiences, 8-0, as I said, so far in the UFC. The next man you'll remember from last year, if you didn't know him before. Please put your hands together for Sweden's own Alexander Gustafsson. 16-2, 6'5", age 27, number one ranked contender in the light heavyweight division. First of all, Alex, lovely to see you. I've been following your tweets. You're actually getting some time to relax, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Some vacation too.
And how does Alexander Gustafsson relax? We've seen you by the pool, but what else do you get up to? Is it eating?
Eating, being on the beach. It's about basically it.
Just hanging out. Well, a man who's next up, certainly familiar with the sun, because he's brought California here to Abu Dhabi. Please put your hands together for Urijah, the California kid, Faber! 30-7 is his MMA record, 5'6", 34 years old. You're used to the sunshine. Tell us about the hair. I barely recognized you earlier. Last time I saw you, it was in braids. What changes? Do you change like Samson when you chop it off?
No, if it's getting on my nerves, I cut it off. I'm not a great planner, so spur of the moment thing. Looking good, back to the California kid.
He's back, looking younger. You've lost the years with that.
What's up, folks? How are you?
Okay, just a reminder, these guys are here for your questions, so please don't feel shy. It's a family atmosphere. Now, the next man up, we have intentionally put him next to Urijah. You might have seen some of his fights. Please welcome heavyweight Stefan Struve. Stefan, I'm going to jump straight in. We can come back in more detail, but can I say on behalf of the UFC, fantastic to have you cleared medically to carry on fighting. We're looking forward to seeing you come back. We'll talk about Nelson, who you have experience of later. But how are you feeling? Physically fit, ready to go?
I'm ready to go into a training camp. I've been training all the time. I didn't have big trouble with the heart. I was just really tired. I'm just really happy to be back and on the road again. And I'm going to be back this summer. So, yes.
Look out for Stefan. Okay, who's going to be the brave person to step up with the first question? We'd love to hear your views. You're not going to get much access. Who would like to ask a question? Okay, I don't mind starting us off. I want to talk straight up with rematches. Obviously, the big rematch on the horizon for you, Alex, is John Jones. We're going to look ahead to the Teixeira fight. But I'd just like to know from you, how do you prepare for a rematch, or how do you think you prepare for a rematch? And Urijah, for you, following the Renan Barão fight, what kind of changes are there in your mentality should the rematch happen for you, Alex, and for Barão for you, Urijah?
Well, that was the second time I fought Barão, and unfortunately, I felt like it was stopped a little bit early. I definitely felt like I had some more fight in me, but I was coming off of 4 wins right in a row in a short period of time, and I was feeling kind of invincible. So I feel like this next time around, I need to be kind of a mixture of the first time that I fought Barão and kind of the carelessness that I had the second time around. And I'm prepared. I'm ready to get in there and fight. It's been kind of an active little break for me, traveling around, and I don't know who else I fight in the division. I've fought almost everyone in the whole top 10, and I think hopefully Cruz heals up and I can put my hands on him and otherwise get another shot with Barao as soon as possible.
Tell us, is the first round of the second fight almost like the sixth round following the previous bout? Does it happen like that? Are you picking up things? Are you remembering things, looking back at his style so you can improve?
You know what, for a fight, when I'm fighting, it's a lot of instincts. You know, you train repetition over and over and over again so that you get an instinct that happens, an action, a reaction. And so I'm not really that conscious in a fight. You know, you kind of go into like a little bit of an amnesia. It's like if I were to run up a flight of stairs, I wouldn't remember where my hands were on the whole way up. And it's kind of that kind of feeling. So every fight's new for me.
Okay, and Alex, for you, I know we've got Teixeira. I know it's yet to be kind of discussed and debated fully. I know you want the fight with Jones. You called him out in London. But should it happen, what kind of mindset do you have that changes now you know that you can go 5 rounds with the champion?
Well, for me, it's just a rematch, and it's all about hard training, and that's how I prepare mentally too. You know, train hard and push my body to the limits. Now I know too. I know Jones very well, and I know how it feels to fight him, and he bleeds like everyone else. So.
Okay, well, I think I can speak on behalf of these guys. Who wants to see that rematch? Okay, you have our support. Do we have any questions? Would anyone like to step up? This gentleman, ladies and gents, give this guy a round of applause. First one. If you'd like to give us your name and the fighter you'd like to ask the question to.
My name is Abdul Aziz. We came from Saudi Arabia to see you guys. And I want to welcome you to the Middle East and Abu Dhabi. It's great to have you. It's been a long time since you came back. I got 2 questions, though. One for Alex and Urijah. Alex, how about the matchup with Jones and Teixeira? Who would you like to face the most, and which one is the best matchup for you? And Urijah, how about the TJ Dillashaw matchup with Barao? What do you think is going to happen? You think is TJ too early for that matchup, or he could do it?
Okay, should we go Alex first?
Well, I want to take the belt from Jones, so I really hope he wins. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know, a lot of people don't know who TJ Dillashaw is. He's been in my gym for years now, and just because he's not as well known in the public doesn't mean that he's not fit for that belt. I really believe in my heart that he's going to win. You know, he's probably the most competitive guy that we have on our team, and his stand-up is getting to the point where, you know, he's one of the best guys in the whole gym. So his base is wrestling. If he can stay aggressive without getting his temper involved, because he's got a real hot streak, a lot of people don't know that, he'll stay safe, and I think he's going to get the belt. So I'm looking forward to that, really. And I don't know what's going to come up next for me. Hopefully Cruz is going to heal up, maybe get another shot at Barao, and have my teammate TJ Dillashaw with the belt.
Well, it throws open a very interesting, if I can build on your question, it throws open an interesting situation that should Dillashaw take the belt from Barao, you're wanting to try and win the title. How do you guys reconcile that?
You know, I do this sport because I love it. It's not because of anything other than that. And I don't really feel like that would be a fight that would be super enjoyable for me. Unless they propose something to TJ and I that makes us both say, all right, we've got to do this to help each other out, it's probably not going to happen.
Okay, and
I'll just hang out and fight everyone else.
And just tell us briefly so these guys understand how involved you've been in Dillashaw's preparation for the Barao bout. You know Barao well. Have you been sharing some of that with him?
It's funny, you know, TJ has been prepping for Dominic Cruz. He was our training partner and can simulate Dominic Cruz to the T. He has the footwork down, everything else, because he prepared myself, Joseph Benavidez a couple different times. And now he's had to do the same thing for Barao on 2 different occasions. So he's studied Barao. He knows Barao. It's not like I beat the crap out of TJ. It's not like I'm heads and shoulders above him or vice versa. Any given day, it's anybody's fight, and he's a hungry guy. He's going to get in there and take the belt.
Looking forward to the matchup. Who else would like to share a question? The gentleman right in the middle. Would you like to head towards a microphone? Oh, the microphone's heading towards you. Your name, sir, and who the question is for.
My name is Mohammed. I'm from Saudi Arabia. I just came here 2 days ago. Welcome to Abu Dhabi. Thank you for coming. I got two questions, quick questions to all of you. Who's your favorite fighter right now in the UFC? And who's your toughest fight in the UFC?
Shall we start at the end, Stefan?
Favorite fighter? I think he's fighting tomorrow. I've been watching Big Nog's career since I was a kid. Since I can remember, I was supposed to fight him last year. Then all the trouble with my heart came up, but I think I'll have to watch his fights the most because he's been in so many great battles. He's just amazing. So,
thank you. Urijah, who excites you? Obviously, other than TJ.
There's a couple guys. I think Nick Diaz is a guy that I always enjoy watching fight. Every time I see a Nick Diaz fight, I know there's going to be some emotion involved, and I feel like, that's a guy that's real, man. He goes in there and fights. The other guy that I feel like is really taking our sport to the next level and doing things that haven't been seen before, and if you slow down his fights and watch, is Anthony Pettis. Right now he's a world champion. He's an exciting world champion. He goes to the finish and he does amazing things. So he's another guy that I'm really fond of right now.
Okay, thanks. Alex?
Well, for me, it's I have to say Anderson Silva. For me, he's a legend, and the toughest fight was the Jones fight for sure.
And just briefly, and Luke, we're going to come to you in a second, do you look at someone else and try and take some of their moves, or are you inspired by some of their movement? What kind of things do you see that maybe we as fans wouldn't see?
Well, I'm a striker, and that's my pedigree. And Anderson Silva done things in the octagon that no one else has done in his fights, and the way he uses his distance and his striking. So it's very inspiring.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Luke, what about you? Who's kind of been catching your eye? Who do you go onto UFC.tv and watch?
Well, I'm a European guy, and I'm fortunate enough to be on stage with my favorite fighter, Mr. Alexander Gustafsson. I look up to him a lot because he comes from Europe, and he's proven that we can do it all. We can fight for world titles, and I honestly believe when he gets the chance, he'll be taking the belt off of John Jones, and it'll be a big moment for Europe. And he's a big inspiration to me because I feel like I knew the guy 5 years ago before he was a part of the UFC, and I've seen how he's grown, and I feel like I can do the same. So, and also, of course, Mr. Chael Sonnen, my coach on the Ultimate Fighter. He's the man too. So those two guys are the guys I look up to.
Just quickly on the Ultimate Fighter, what are you calling when it comes to Silva and Sonnen?
To say that, for the
for the
showdown.
Vanderlei
fight. Come on, man. What's the silly question that I think Chael takes it any way he wants it, and I think it's going to be a damn exciting fight. And I know we're all going to sign up to watch that fight, and it's going to be exciting.
I'm just looking for the dates. I'll give you the dates of that in a minute.
June 5th.
Is it June 5th? Thank you. Better prepared than I am. We're going to come to you, sir, in 1 second. What was your other question? I beg your pardon. The toughest fight, Stefan.
I've been in a bunch of wars, as you know, so toughest fights is hard to tell. But my last one was really tough because we were already dealing with a problem I didn't know I had. So pretty much battling without energy. But toughest fight, I think it was my second one where I got cut open and just got back to victory. I didn't have the experience of winning in the UFC yet. I really wanted that win. Then he cut me open. I didn't know what was going to happen. Were they going to stop the fight? What was going to happen? But in the end, I finished him. So it was a pretty good fight, I think.
Okay, Urijah. Is there anyone that stands out about an area, perhaps just to build on this question, an area where you've all of a sudden found yourself in a situation that you weren't necessarily expecting you'd have to psychologically get through?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, my toughest fight was against Jose Aldo. And I feel like right now, in my opinion, he's the best pound-for-pound guy. And one thing that I knew was coming was those kicks. What I didn't know was I wasn't going to be able to use my leg after a couple of them. So I was like a sitting duck for a little while, hobbling around and holding on for dear life. And I've had some bad fights out there. I've broken both hands, against Mike Brown, and I've, broken ribs against Barrow. And that was the most pain I've ever been in. Like from my hip to my mid calf was like I got hit with a bat for 21 minutes, and it was pretty disgusting. So Google Urijah Faber's leg and look at the disgusting pictures. You'll be impressed.
Alex, We know what happened last year. That was a pretty tough fight, but I think we all saw you go up a level. Have you had prior to that, maybe at the beginning of your career, moments that really challenged you?
Well, every fight is a tough fight. So, but not, you know, I lost my first fight actually here. So, I'll say that was also a tough fight for me. But Jones, absolutely, that fight was tough.
Okay, thank you. And Luke, just talk us through 8-0 at the moment. Presumably each fight gets harder, gets tougher, but you have more experience. So maybe can you explain to us, going into each fight, how you prepare mentally to overcome some of those toughnesses, the obstacles?
You know, like Alex says, every fight's tough, but it's tough in the gym. For me, I'm 3-0 in the UFC right now, obviously fairly new compared to the guys I'm up here with. I haven't had a tough fight yet in the UFC. You know, I'm 3-0. I've done pretty well. And after I bashed Sean Strickland in Germany in 7 weeks, then maybe after that I'll get a tough fight. So, you know, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to the challenges moving forward. But right now I'm sitting pretty at 3-0. So I had some tough moments. Probably the Ultimate Fighter, my first fight to get in the house there. A lot of people don't know, but I fought with a separated shoulder. I had a separated AC joint, and I got my orbital broke in that fight as well. So that was a pretty tough fight for me, and it meant a lot to get on the Ultimate Fighter. It changed my life, had me here in beautiful Abu Dhabi up on stage. So, you know, that would probably be the one.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. This gentleman, if you'd like to stand up, we have someone with a microphone. Let us know your name and your question, please.
How you doing? My name is Rustin from New York. First of all, I'd like to thank Abu Dhabi. It's a great place to have this event. My question is for Urijah and Gustafsson. Who, in your opinion, is the top upcoming welterweight not in the top 10?
Man, I'd have to get a list of the top 10 in front of me.
Okay.
You got any suggestions?
No.
Who's that?
Yeah, he's young.
You're talking about 170s,
He's really young.
huh?
I don't know if Dan Hardy's in the top 10, but he's tough. Where's Dan? He's talking about welterweight.
170s. Let me see.
170.
I can't. I'd have to get a. I can't think of the top of my head.
Well,
Who's
maybe
not in the top 10?
Or whatever in the welterweight.
Anyone got Google? You know, can I just twist that question?
Nick Diaz. That's a guy that, I mean, everybody wants to see him fight for a title, and I think that's the only way he's coming back. I just read an article, and like I said, I like to see that guy. I don't feel like he doesn't have the best, he's not the best at communicating, but, you know, if you put him in a fight and the stakes are high, you know, it's going to be, you know, spit and middle fingers and the whole shebang, so I like to see that.
I'm going to build on that question, actually, gentlemen, talking about young fighters. Stefan, you're 10 years in. You started age 17, and I want to extend this across to debuts particularly. First of all, can you tell us, what's it like to have a debut fight, not only in the UFC, but your first ever mixed martial arts fight? Do you remember back then? Do you think 17, looking back, was too young?
17 was my first pro fight. I had my first amateur fight at 16, and I wasn't supposed to fight, but they had an event in the town where I live, and a teammate of mine got injured, but I was like 6'6" and 185 pounds. You could barely any muscle on my frame. So I fought a guy who was 31 years old, and obviously I was really nervous because it was my hometown. But went pretty well. The second minute, I knocked him out with a head kick, but I was pretty scary to get in there with a guy who was twice my age. So.
And what happens when you debut in the UFC? Because we got a fight tomorrow night, Omer's and Allah's, both of them experienced, but debuting in the UFC. Can you help us understand the difference when you come to the UFC for your first bout? Is there more pressure on you?
I pretty much had won against every single heavyweight available in Europe, and then they lined me up when it was 21 for 3 days with Junior Dos Santos, who just knocked out Fabricio Werdum. So that's pretty intense. Nobody really knew how good he was, but he was impressive in his debut. But I just jammed. I didn't know what to do. I could barely move, stepping in that cage for the first time. It's really weird to say, but the second time it gets better. Well, it gets better every single time. But the first fight, it's you have that arena, you have the octagon, you get announced by Bruce Buffer. It's the entire experience. Just takes so much from your body and your mind.
Would you say the same, Urijah? Is there a step up when you come to the UFC? What else is happening that's different to other promotions?
Well, I mean, the build-up is a lot more professional. If you're coming from one of these smaller shows, the way you get treated is better, the media surrounding it. There's a lot of things, but I kind of enjoy that. I didn't really have an issue with stepping into a bigger show. The first time that I fought under Zuffa was with the WEC, and I was really surprised. I was used to getting, mistreated and lied to and everything else from these smaller promotions, and it was the first time that you step up and deal with some real professionals, so I could really appreciate that, and I was just happy to be a part of it.
Okay, and Alex, maybe just a twist on that. When you're talking to other younger fighters or less experienced fighters, what kind of advice would you give them coming into the UFC for a debut?
Well, go in there and have fun. Just enjoying the time in the spotlight, and it is a bigger scene. It's much more pressure, but take all that and just go in there and have fun.
Okay, now thank you for that. One man who didn't have too much fun on his UFC debut, Mats Nielsen. Remember him? He got knocked out pretty quickly by Luke in London a few weeks ago. Would you say the same thing when you come into the UFC? Is the expectation greater on you? Do you have more pressure on yourself to perform?
Yeah, I mean, I had my debut a year ago on Sunday, April 13th. So it was my 25th birthday and my UFC debut. And there's definitely more pressure, but it's how you deal with it. And like Alex said, you enjoy it. The UFC is a roller coaster. This lifestyle is different to any other promotion, and you're fortunate to be here. So I went in there. You've got the most professional people around you, and you for once, finally, you're fighting on a show that look after you, and they do everything medically and everything you need. So you're going in there. Whatever happens once you step in the octagon, you're going to be looked after. So. I was quite calm, and I think the best thing to do is enjoy yourself. These life experiences are the best moments of your life.
Thank you. We've probably got time for one or two more questions. The gentleman there, if you'd like to step to the microphone, sir, so we can hear you, and we'll come back to you. I beg your pardon.
My name is Arhama. I'm from Dubai, and it's certainly a pleasure to have you in my country back here in Abu Dhabi. Some pretty heavy names in this card. So I give it up to the UFC for bringing it back here. I got a question for Alex. How is it to train with Nick Diaz? I do know you trained with Nick Diaz for a while. How did that shape you up and bring extra value for your fights?
I haven't trained with Nick Diaz.
Then,
so
that was a rumor that you did train with Nick Diaz for a while, or?
Oh, okay, no. That's not correct. I haven't been training with Nick Diaz.
Okay. So who is the person that you've trained with and gave you most value to shape up your career in your current time?
Well, I have to, all my training partners back home and in my gym, All-Stars Training Center, and Team Alliance, with the guys there, they helped me a lot. But the man that's been helping me the most and really, shaping me up and to the man I am today, it's Andreas Michael, my head coach, and I'm just fortunate to have a great team around me.
Nice level change on the question. Gents, have you guys trained together? Have you two fought or rolled together?
Me and Alex trained together like 5 years ago when I just started training. I flew out to Sweden a long time ago, and I probably knew. I was a white belt in jiu-jitsu, and I'd never wrestled in my life, so it was a good experience for me.
Did they give you any breaks in the gym when you're in that situation, or is it just full speed ahead?
No, I remember. Obviously, Alex won't remember, but I remember we had a little spar like boxing, and I'd never been hit so hard in my life, and I'd had something like a few amateur fights, and I had my jaw broken in my first ever fight, and Alex hit me a lot harder than that. So it was a good time. It was a good time.
Hey, son, how you doing? You having a good time? Yeah, Mum, I'm fine. I'm fine. Gentleman in the stripes, if you'd like to fire away with your question, please.
Hi, my name's Adam. I've got a quick question for Luke. Obviously, you came through the ranks of the Ultimate Fighter, There's rumours that there's going to be a UK version of The Ultimate Fighter, and it's no secret that you put your name out there to be one of the coaches. Do you just want to elaborate on that a little bit?
I mean, yeah, obviously they're going to try and do it. The UK, the tough UK, they want to do UK versus UK to really bring the talent up in the EMEA as the promotion grows. And I feel, obviously I've only been in the promotion for a year and I went through the Ultimate Fighter, but I feel like I have what it takes to bring young talent in. Last 2 years ago, I went to 50 domestic shows in the year. Last year, I went to 36. So I know the domestic scene in England probably better than any guy. I feel like going through the tough process gives me clout to help the guys through it. And you know, it's just one of my goals. It's something I want to do. The moment I was on the Ultimate Fighter, I thought one day I'm gonna coach this show. You know, so I've been at Dana. I've been texting him. I've been letting him know that's what I want to do. You know, I just got to get the fans behind me and get the people wanting me to coach. So I understand I'm young, I understand I'm new, but you know, that doesn't mean I haven't got value to add to the show. So I feel like it'd be a fantastic time in my career, and I think I could do a lot for the guys on the show, you know, and I think you'd see that. You'd get to learn my personality and who I am if I got the opportunity to coach.
Thank you. Lovely question. So we're not gonna have time for many more. We just want to wrap up briefly by looking forward to tomorrow. It's a pretty good card. We've got some great guys, certainly up top. You have hands-on experience with Nelson. Do you see it going only one way? Do you think it's going to go to the ground? Is it a stand-up battle? What do you think about the main event tomorrow night?
Nogueira looked to be in pretty good shape, like better shape than he's been in his last couple fights. So it's going to be really interesting to see how good of shape he really is in, and if age really is a factor, and also, you know, all the hard fights he's been in. But you know, we'll see. You know, it's going to be, the temperature is going to play a role too. So there's just so many factors. You know, it's going to be an amazing fight anyway. Looking forward to that one.
I had a look back at some of Nogueira's opposition. I mean, it's a who's who: Krokop, Bob Sapp, Hendo, Mark Coleman, Frank Mir, Tim Sylvia, Cain Velasquez. He's kind of been through them all. Do you think Nelson is just going to look for that knockout early on?
It's what he does, right? So he's just going to come at you and throw that over and right. I think that the last couple fights showed how to beat Roy. His last couple opponents beat him that way. Move away from that right. Use your wrestling to take him down, tire him out. And when you tire him out, it's your fight.
Okay, and gents, any views on tomorrow night? Alex, do you see only one winner in the main event?
Well, it's a great fight, and I'm very excited to see it. It's hard to pick a winner. It's, you know, they're both really good jiu-jitsu. They hit hard, good boxing. So I can't pick a winner. I'm just very excited to see it.
Okay, Urijah, I just wanted to take it down a weight division. Clay Guida, we've seen him tonight. We know what Kawajiri does. He jumps on top and just tries to finish you off with ground and pound. Guida just seems non-stop energy. Is that a foregone conclusion, or is that just going to be they throw everything at each other and hope for the best?
You know, Clay Guida's my boy. He's a good friend, and I really feel that his style is going to be perfect for Kawajiri. Guida's really, really tough to finish. And I think probably that's Kawajiri's only chance. Guida's a grinder. He's a guy that has a huge gas tank. And I think especially after his last couple performances, he's got something to prove. So I'm definitely giving Guida the edge.
Okay, and finally, Luke, anything that stands out on tomorrow night's card for you?
Well, I was looking forward to the Chris Camozzi fight, but that's been called off. Obviously, I had a good fight recently with Andrew, and I was looking forward to seeing him bounce back and fight Camozzi. So, you know, that sucks that fight's been cancelled, because I was really looking forward to that. But the fight that stands out to me, which is a different one, is Jim Allers against Alan Omar. Both debut fighters, like you said, and I know Jim pretty well from the promotion he's come from, Cage Warriors, where he was the champ. Real nice guy, real talented guy, and I'm looking forward to him. You know, he's travelled a lot and fought a lot in different countries, so I'm looking forward to him making a name for himself and putting on a good show here in Abu Dhabi.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, first of all, thank you for your time. Thank you for your insight and your views. I'm sure we can join in together to say thank you to Luke Barnatt, to Alexander Gustafsson, Urijah Faber, and Stefan Struve. Don't forget all the action.